Hello guys, it's Nona Prince and this is part 2 of 2 Problems with Saaho. You can check out part 1, everything I liked about Saaho on the card or in the description. First of all, disclaimer, I may get frustrated by the end of this video and by no means I am to disrespect the creators and the makers of the film. I know how hard it is to make a film, that too with a budget like this. But all the frustration is a part of my passion for this film. From the time the first teaser came out during Bahubali 2, I was waiting for this movie, wanted this movie to be amazing, but it didn't turn out to be, and it's disappointing. So again, it's all just my passion for the movie and no disrespect or insult to anyone. First of all, what is the focus of a film? It's the story, the characters, their emotions. But the biggest flaw is the movie lost its focus. With the big budget, the action, the VFX, the songs, all these things to recover money, making it a pan-India film, and it all turned out to be a mess. Making it a trilingual film was the biggest mistake according to me. They should have dubbed it in other languages like Bahubali. So many scenes felt forced, and the performance didn't come out nicely because the actors were shooting it in three languages over and over again. Their tiredness was visible on the screen. Prabhas put a lot of effort speaking in Hindi, but his Hindi was nowhere close to being flawless. And when an Hindi audience was speaking in Hindi for their entire life, they can easily see that Prabhas is struggling and it just throws you out of the film. He didn't have full control on his dialogue. And even the dialogues are so outdated. No one speaks like that. Dialogues felt more like a translation than real dialogue. Story was too big. There were too many characters to be fit in a 3 hour film, and thus the confusion the audience felt. The story had to be restructured and have to be coherent to be a 3 hour or 2.5 hour film. I'm going to take the example of John Wick. Warning, I'm not comparing the film, I'm just taking an example to prove my point. I'm not even talking about the action or the VFX. Like this movie, John Wick also has an imaginary world in a real world, the underground mafia and all that. It took them 3 films to completely talk about that. In the first movie, it was just about the story of John Wick taking revenge for his dog. And we just got to know about the hotel and the coins used in the underworld, nothing else. By the end of third movie, we got to know how the underworld works. Imagine if they would have crammed all that in just one movie, it would be a mess like Saaho. The songs. You can check out my community tab. Every time a song was released, I said the song is good but don't win the film. Songs don't work in this genre. The movie has to be fast paced. Stopping the story for 2 to 3 minutes just drags the film and becomes boring. Many people talk about content is the king. Even Prabhas said it, creators said it. But when you are doing something in the film for the sake of the fans, like Prabhas fans want something, want some action, we have to add it for them, then the content is not king, Prabhas is king. So please don't make false statements. If the content is king, content is king. You don't make changes to the content, to the story for the sake of the actor and his fans. So the film tried to show strong women characters. Now the idea of women empowerment was cute. They went out of their way to show women empowerment in the film. And some female critics pointed it out that Prabhas trying to be romantic to Shraddha's character in the police station or whatever place they were in. It's actually workplace harassment. After interval, when Shraddha shows up at the hotel and says, I want half the money because I helped you rob it, and then she tells him, how do you feel? Are you feeling something when she comes close to Prabhas? That's not women empowerment. Now let's talk about some technical faults. There were a lot. First of all, this action thriller genre. The movie wanted to be gritty and grounded. You can tell it from the action sequences, the performance. There was not a marked hero performance saying big dialogue. It was not the generic stuff we are used to. But again, they tried playing it safe so they could recover money. They added commercial elements to the film, having a sidekick for the sake of humor, adding a love story, adding songs. It just shows an half-hearted attempt. They didn't stick to their gun. When you don't 100% trust your material, how can I? The sound mixing. What was that? First, I thought it's only me or my theater. But I saw so many people complaining about it on the net. The guy is hitting the ground. After 2 seconds, I'm hearing the sound of him hitting. If it was a creative choice, it didn't work for me. Sometimes the sound was so loud, I couldn't even hear the dialogue. So many times the sounds were just irritating. Let's come to editing. Again, rapid editing. I couldn't even see what's happening. The editing was so fast and chopped so much during the action sequences. After interval, when Prabhas is jumping off the cliff 2 times and he's wearing the parachute bag, it cuts and again he's wearing the parachute bag. And when he drops, cut, again he drops. You edit like that in a music video. And mind you, the Bad Boy song hadn't started yet. If it was a creative decision, it was a mature effort. But if it was a mistake, It's just ridiculous. You're calling it the biggest Indian action film and you're doing this mistake. Again, no disrespect to the editor or the creative team. They are good at their work, that's why they are there doing it. But when something like this happens, it has to be pointed out. There were some VFX issues with the green screen when they're standing on the roof of the city. To be honest, that is nothing in front of other things. Let's come to screenplay. The transitions between one scene to another didn't connect at all. They were making no sense. There was so much confusion. So many times I don't understand what is even happening. The narrative was so complex. Twist after twist after twist. And I love subverting expectations. I talk about it a lot on my channel. But here I didn't have an expectation. So I was not understanding what's happening. By the end there were so many twists and I gave up. Who is with whom? Who is with whom? Neelith and Mukesh had a dialogue. The story is too big, I don't understand. And I had the same feeling. There are things in the story just for the convenience because they look cool, which had nothing to the story. Why? Because it's the biggest action movie. We have a 350 crore budget. We have to add big action sequences in the movie. You need to add cool things to the movie. It helps the story or not, doesn't matter. The inspector says our police is the best in the world. Are you kidding me? You started the film that the city is run by gangsters. How can a city run by gangsters have the best police in the world? How does that make sense? Now they are jetpacks, a thing which I was looking forward to. But why are they there? Because it looks cool. It adds nothing to the story. The jetpack leads nowhere. If Prabhas had used jetpack to accomplish something which takes the story ahead, then it makes sense. But he did nothing. He just used it once and that it stopped working and he removed it and dived to save Shraddha. That burned village. What did it add? Just that Chunky Pandey is the bad guy, he's an evil person. Nothing else. The climax fight scene in the desert where the village was. What was the point of it? How come the other guys who came later know that Saaho is their leader and the guys he was fighting with didn't know he's the leader? The final revelation that Saaho is the son of Roy. Four characters are learning at the same point. Shraddha is on a other mission, finding that guy and why did you run away that day? Why did you run away that day? And then we go back to that crime scene which I had totally forgot by this time. The relationship of father and son, the emotion that he couldn't tell his father that he loves him, it had no impact on me. Because we just had one flashback of him with his son in the middle of the film. That too we thought someone else is his son. Then some scenes at the end and no scene at all with Prabhas and him together. How will I even feel any emotion? It felt flat. And there are countless things I could say. This video will go on forever, so let's end it here. At the end, I'm just doubtful about all the big budget films coming out next. I had so much expectations from this film. There were some good aspects, but it did disappoint. I just hope the movie recover its cost. The team moves on. They learn from their mistakes. We have to remember that failure is not bad. It shows that at least you tried. And this experience will just help you learn and become better. So guys, thank you for watching this video. If you haven't seen part 1, everything I liked about Saaho, go check it out. If you like this video, thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down, no problem. If you're new to the channel, check out other videos. And if you like them, do consider subscribing. Thank you for watching. See you later.